House Leader, third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. It was almost a year ago that this government decided to forge ahead with building Site C Dam, despite a report from the BC Utilities Commission that should have spelled the end of the project. Importantly, BCUC found that there was no need for Site C's energy even by 2024 when it will supposedly come into service. Recently, the CEO of BC Hydro reiterated this. He said, and I quote, "We're not building Site C for today. We have an energy surplus in the short term. We're not even building it for 2024 when the units first come into service." He also said that if LNG Canada goes ahead, quote, "they will be a very big customer. They would be in our top 3 or 4 biggest customers." This sounds to me like the reason for building Site C and spending over $10 billion, $12 billion, $14 billion to do it is to power an LNG industry, not to meet the energy needs of ordinary British Columbians. My question through you, Honourable Speaker, is to the Minister of Energy and Mines. Was the rationale for building Site C to deliver power to an LNG industry rather than meet the energy needs of ordinary British Columbians?
Minister, Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and let me be absolutely clear. The decision to proceed with Site C had nothing to do with LNG Canada at all, Honourable Speaker. There was no FID at the time. There is nothing from that project that determined our decision on Site C. Rather, the key factor that determined this government's decision on Site C was the $4 billion hole it would have left in the fiscal plan. That's $4 billion less this government would have had to live up to the commitments it made to British Columbians. It would have meant no child care program. It would have meant not being able to address the 16 years of neglect by the previous government in health care, in education, Honourable Speaker, in post-secondary education. We were not willing to leave British Columbians out in the cold without those types of services that they rely on every single day.
House Leader, third party on a supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. While the Minister claims the decision to build Site C wasn't for the LNG industry, it's clear now that the LNG industry is expecting subsidised electricity rates, which will be subsidised by the taxpayers of British Columbia. This means saddling British Columbians for generations to come with the debt for building this dam for the power that we don't need. Not only this, but we are hearing serious concerns being raised about geotechnical conditions and slope stability. We found out that Site C Dam will be anchored not to bedrock, but to shale. And a recent landslide near Site C has reminded us of the instability of the slopes in this area. In light of all this, a retired BC Hydro engineer has recently added his voice to the call for an independent safety review of Site C. My question through you, Honourable Speaker, is again to the Ministry of Energy and Mines. Given these serious concerns about geotechnical instability, at what point does the Minister feel that there should be an independent review to assess the safety of the Site C Dam project?
Minister, Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. There was a few comments in that question that I just want to clarify for the record. So first off, LNG Canada and any LNG project that would be coming forward in British Columbia would be paying the same industrial rate for electricity as other industrial customers. So that includes mines, that includes mills, including the Crofton Mill and the members' own riding, including UBC, Vancouver Airport, and the Greater Vancouver Water District, for example, Honourable Speaker. But I appreciate her concern in terms of making sure that slope stability is something that is addressed in the construction phase of BC Hydro Site C. And so the issue of historical slides in the area has been well documented and is being addressed with the excavations and the stabilization measures at the site. I also want to make sure that everybody here knows that BC Hydro has a technical advisory board advising on the construction of Site C. This board is comprised of globally recognized technicians for their knowledge and experience with hydroelectric projects around the world. And Honourable Speaker, Site C is being built and will be maintained to international and Canadian safety standards.